Good afternoon, boys and girls, and the viewing public. For this afternoon for critical mathematics, we're going to be taking a little twist to our session for this afternoon. So this afternoon, we're actually going to be looking at geometry, and we will be doing a lot of reading and videos and interactions. So let's begin for this afternoon, and we're looking at types of triangles and quadrilaterals, regular and irregular polygons. Well, we know that the triangles, a lot of times we hear about triangles, and for some reason we think about one type of triangle and we categorize it with just one meaning. So this afternoon, we're going to be going a little into triangles and their types. So we have, what is a triangle? A triangle has three straight sides that connect. The length of the sides can vary, but the length of the largest side can be greater or equal to the sum of the two other sides. So here we have a triangle where we would have, you can see the vertex, that is the peak of the triangles. We have the side, that we would have one side represented. We have internal angles, and we have external angles. And when we did angles, we would have indicated how the internal angles would have looked. Now we are looking at the external angle, and this is the external angle of a triangle. So there are a few things that you would observe with the triangle, with the one vertex represented, but I will just leave you to think a little bit if the triangle only has one vertex or more than one, if it has one side or more than one, if it has one interior angle or more than one, and one exterior angle or more than one. So that's just a little brain teaser for you to ponder on as we go along. So let's go into this video. Take keen attention to the video.
Well, all triangles are categorized on the basis of sides and angles. According to sides, there are three types of triangles. Similarly, according to angles, there are also three types of triangles. Firstly, we will learn the three types of triangles on the basis of sides. The first type of such triangles are equilateral triangles. In equilateral triangles, all three sides are equal. That's why we put single dash on all three sides. For example, in this triangle, this side is 6 cm, this side is 6 cm, and this side is also 6 cm. Here, all sides are equal, so we call it equilateral triangle. The second type of triangles is isosceles triangle. In isosceles triangle, only two sides are equal. That's why we put single dash on two sides and leave the third side. For example, in this triangle, this side is 5 cm, this side is also 5 cm, and this side is 7 cm. Here, only two sides are equal, so we call it isosceles triangle. The third type of triangles is scalene triangle. In scalene triangle, all three sides are different. For example, in this triangle, this side is 5 cm, this side is 7 cm, while this side is 9 cm. Here, all three sides are different, so it is scalene triangle.
So let's take a look at the three types of triangles with and depending on their sides. So we have the equilateral triangle, where we have all three sides are equal. Whatever length is one side, all three of the sides will be the same length. So that is why we would call it equilateral triangle. Then we have the isosceles triangle. Only two sides are equal. So you will always have two sides equal and the other side will be not equal to the first two. We have also the Scalene Triangle. All sides are different. No side would be equal to the other side. So here we have three triangles, but they are still three different types of triangles. The first one, all the sides are equal, equilateral triangle. The second one, isosceles triangle, where we have two sides are equal. And the third one, scalene triangles, where we have all three sides are not equal. So let's continue as we learn about our types of triangles.
Thus, these are the three types of triangles on the basis of sides. Now, here is one important question. How can we remember these three types of triangles easily? Well, I always teach my personal trick. In case of equilateral triangle, the word equi means equal and the lateral means sides. So the word equilateral means equal sides. Therefore, equilateral triangles are those triangles in which all sides are equal. In case of isosceles triangles, in the first four alphabets, there are two S or 2 times S. So in isosceles triangle, two sides are equal. In case of scalene triangle, in the first four alphabets, all the four alphabets are different, or we say that there is only one S, which means that not a single side is equal or all sides are different. Thus, using this simple trick, we can easily remember the types of triangles. Finally, let me teach you the three types of triangles on the basis of angles. Well, I teach my personal trick. I always write A-R-O-N, Arun. Now below A, I draw this angle. Below R, I draw this angle. Below O, I draw this angle. And I do not draw anything below N. Now this angle is less than 90 degree, so A stands for acute angle. This angle is equal to 90 degree, so R stands for right angle. And this angle is greater than 90 degree, so O stands for obtuse angle. Now on the basis of angles, the first type of triangle is acute triangle. Those triangles in which all the angles are less than 90 degree are called acute triangles. For example, in this triangle, this angle is 50 degree, this angle is 70 degree, this angle is 60 degree. Here, all the angles are less than 90 degree, so it is acute triangle. The second type of triangle is right triangle, a right-angled triangle. Those triangles in which one angle is 90 degree a right angle are called right triangles. For example, in this triangle, this angle is 90 degree. So this triangle is known as right angle, a right-angled triangle. The third and the last type of triangles is obtuse triangle. Those triangles in which one angle is obtuse angle are called obtuse triangles. For example, in this triangle, this angle is 110 degree. This angle is greater than 90 degree, so we say that this triangle is obtuse triangle. Thus, these are the 6 different types of triangles.
Okay, so
Angle is greater than 90 degree.
those were the angle, the types of triangles that we would look at their angles. Okay, we just had a few students that came in. Good afternoon, everyone. And how are you?
Okay.
Okay, so whilst we are continuing with the program and the viewing public, I would like you to take out your books so you will prepare for your session. So we have the three types of triangle: the acute triangle, the right triangle, and the obtuse triangle. And what we would have learned when we did angles, we know that the acute angle was less than 90 degrees. Therefore, the triangle of itself, all the angles would be less than 90 degrees. Then we have the right triangle. We know we would have learned that the right angle is equal to 90 degree. So the right triangle would have one angle that is equal to 90 degree. And then we had the obtuse angle. Therefore, the obtuse angle is more than 90 degree but less than 180. So in an obtuse triangle, you would always have an angle that is greater than 90 degree but less than 180 degree. So just let's recap a little for the students. So guys, for this afternoon we are looking at geometry, and we're looking at types of triangles: quadrilateral, regular and irregular polygons. However, so far we would have looked at the types of triangle, where we have three triangles based on side, three types of triangles, and we have three other types of triangle based on angles. Right? So, do you know of any type of triangle, or even what is a triangle?
A triangle is a shape that has three sides.
Triangle is a shape that has three sides. Very well. You have any other explanation?
No.
All right. So any shape that has three sides connecting to each other, the three sides, so it encloses the shape, it will be known as a triangle. What about the types of triangle? Because we might see a lot of shapes, three sides, but then they look different. So could you say to me if you know the types of triangles?
Equilateral triangle.
We have an equilateral triangle, okay.
A right angle triangle.
Right angle triangle.
Obtuse triangle.
Pardon me?
Obtuse triangle.
Obtuse triangle, okay.
Acute triangles.
Acute triangle.
Types of triangles and easy trick to remember them. Well, all
Yes,
triangles
please.
are
Okay, I was going to run it back for you, but what I'm going to do, let's look at it this way. Let's recap. Look at the screen. And you would have called all three correctly. We have acute triangle, we have obtuse triangle, and we have a right triangle. Right? And all of these angles are based, all of these triangles here are based on the angle. Where the acute triangle, from your observation and from what it states, could you please read? For the acute triangle, Shamar, read.
Acute triangle. All three angles of an acute triangle measure less than 90 degrees.
Good. And remember, when we did angles and when we did acute angles, we know that an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. So we cannot have the triangle with an angle more than 90 degrees and probably assume that it's a obtuse triangle when all the angles are less than 90 degrees, I should say. Right? So we have the obtuse triangle. Shamar?
Obtuse triangle. One angle of an obtuse triangle measures more than 90 degrees.
Only one angle measure more than 90 degrees. Because actually, if we have more than one angle measuring more than 90 degrees, the three sides, the two angles, what I should say, the angles will not be able to touch, right? Because say we have an obtuse, we have an obtuse, right? So when we're connecting it, they will actually go apart from each other. That is why when we have one as an obtuse, the other one needs to come in to connect. If you can see what I'm saying from my little triangle here, right? If we have the other one going as an obtuse, you see where the two lines went? They would not be able to connect. So that is why we must only have one as being more than 90 degrees. Let's look at the right triangle.
Right triangle. One angle of a right triangle measures 90 degrees.
Okay, great. So we know the 90 degree. What do we look for the 90 degree angle?
In the square.
The square, other than the square, if it doesn't have a square, on the triangle of itself, what we try to identify to determine if it's a right angle.
A L?
A L, like a perfect L, right? Vertical and horizontal line connecting to each other. And then we'll know, okay, that's 90 degrees. So it forms a right angle. So this is a right triangle. Okay, take that down quickly. Despite we are discussing, we still need to take note of what we did or what we are doing, so you can go back and look over for recall's sake and to remember. So we have the three types of triangle, and these three types of triangle are based on the angle. The names of the three types of triangle are based on the angles that are formed. The acute triangle, where we have three sides less than 90 degrees. The obtuse triangle, where we have one side greater than 90 degrees, therefore the other two sides will be less than 90 degrees. And then we have the right triangle, where we have one of the main angles being 90 degrees and the other two angles less than 90 degrees. So you say I, you're completed. So we do encourage the viewing public and the students to make notes also, so that you will be able to go back and look over and to remember what was taught.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, Shamar. Good. So we have three other types of triangle. And these triangle, the video that you would have missed would have stated these triangles are based on sides, not the angles anymore. So we have the isosceles. Alia?
Two sides of an isosceles triangle have the same length.
Great. Two sides of the isosceles triangle has the same length. Continue.
Equilateral triangle. All three sides of an equilateral triangle have the same length.
All three of the sides have the same length. No side is longer than any one. The third one.
Scalene triangle. No sides of a scalene triangle are the same length.
Exactly. So here we have one triangle has two equal sides. The third one obviously should be different. The other triangle, equilateral, has all three sides being equal. And the third triangle, the scalene, we have no side equal to each other. So one thing we should note, that we have the triangles according to angle and we have the triangles according to size. They look similar, yes, right? But you should be able to still differentiate which one is which. I can also include that the isosceles triangle, where you see the two sides are equal, the two base angles at the bottom are equal. And we know where to find the angles, right? Good. So the two base angles are equal. The fact is that the two sides are equal. The equilateral triangle, if I am saying the isosceles triangle, the two sides are equal, therefore the two angles, the two base angles are equal. What could you tell me about the equilateral triangle? Angles. The sides are equal. What about the angle? What do you think the angle would be?
The obtuse angle.
Okay, not by name. Listen to the first one. This isosceles, the two sides are equal, therefore the two base angles are equal. In the equilateral, all three sides are equal. What would you say about the angles?
I think they might be equal too.
Yes, not you think, they will be, right? Because if the two sides are equal and two angles are equal, if all three sides are equal, then all three angles should be equal, right? So you're correct with that one. And the Scalene triangle, no sides are equal. So what could we say about the angle?
For Scalene Triangle,
Yeah.
none of the sides will be equal.
None of the sides will be equal. What about the angle?
Angle?
The angles? Would any angles be equal?
No.
No. None of the angles are equal. Two sides equal, therefore two angles equal. All three sides equal, therefore all three angles are equal. No side equal, therefore no angle would equal. Right? So you must be able to identify. Let's go back to the first three. As I said, they look similar, right? But there might be just a minor difference, but you should be able to identify with them. So let's get this one quickly. Copy. So as we are taking note also, speak to yourself. Read to yourself. So as you're reading to yourself, you actually will remember what you are writing. So you say at the same time you're writing, you read it out to yourself. It's like if you're reading it out loud in your own head. Not disturbing anyone, but just speaking to yourself. It helps you remember. It helps you actually, like if you're listening to something else or to another voice, if you would want to say. So as soon as we finish in a minute or so, say I, and then we move on. And we must say critical mathematics and English must say to you guys as students, thank you for your diligence and your cooperation and your support. And we know that at the end of it, it would be beneficial to you, and you would be leaving with something new, something fresh, or even confirmation of what you would have learned already. Thank you, Aliyah. Okay, let's move on. So, we're moving on now to the quadrilateral, the types of quadrilateral. So we'll look at this little video, and then you will give me your notes, what you would have received out of it. So as it go along, take notes.
Quadrilaterals. Good day, students. Welcome back to my classroom. For today's lesson, you will learn to identify and describe the different kinds of quadrilateral, which are square, rectangle, parallelogram, trapezoid, and rhombus. Let's begin. We have here a treasure. Let's take a look what's inside this treasure. There you go. What can you observe? We can see that these objects have 4 sides, which are examples of quadrilaterals. But wait, do you know what quadrilateral means? The term quad in quadrilateral means 4, while lateral means sides. Therefore, it means that a quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides. For example, we have here 4 line segments. If we combine this to form a figure, we can form a quadrilateral, which we can see this figure has 4 sides. And as we combine these line segments, we also create 4 angles. Here we can see that this figure has 4 right angles or 4 90-degree angles, which total to 360 degrees. Therefore, remember that the quadrilateral has a total of 360 degrees. Quadrilaterals are classified according to the length of its sides and the measure of its angles. Now that you know some basics, let's explore different kinds of quadrilateral. First up, we have here a rectangle. A rectangle is a quadrilateral which opposite sides are equal. One pair of opposite sides are the widths, while the other ones are the lengths. We can also observe that these opposite sides are parallel to each other. Remember from our past video that parallel are those that do not intersect. Lengths here are parallel to each other, and the widths are also parallel to each other. And lastly, all of the 4 corners are right angles. Now let's try to change the measure of its length like this. Do you know what quadrilateral is this? If you said square, you are right. In a square, all of its sides are equal. And like the rectangle, its opposite sides are parallel. And it also has 4 right angles. Let's go to the next one. This time, let's experiment a bit by changing its angles. Like this. There you go. Can you guess what quadrilateral is this? It is a rhombus. A rhombus, like square, has 4 equal sides, and its opposite sides are also parallel. The only difference is that its angles are not right angles, but we can see that its opposite angles are equal, which means if one angle is 70 degrees, its opposite angle will be 70 degrees. If the other one is 110 degrees, the opposite angle will be 110 degrees. But still, if we add the measures of the 4 angles, it will still sum up to 360 degrees. Now let's go to the next one. This time, let's try to stretch this rhombus like this. There! Now this is a parallelogram. A parallelogram, like rhombus, has equal opposite angles, and which opposite sides are equal and parallel. Awesome! Now let's go to the last one. Now this time, let's try to change the measure of only one side and an angle. Let's see what happens. There! We have formed a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides, which is different from the other quadrilaterals we have learned earlier that have 2 pairs of parallel sides. Here we can see that the top and the bottom sides of this figure are parallel to each other. Then we learn the different kinds of quadrilaterals, which are rectangle, square, rhombus, parallelogram, and trapezoid. Great job, students! You made it this far. Now here are the things that you learned today.
So, I know you could not have received everything, but we have a little note there. So, look at the notes. See if what you would have written or what you have took note of are some of the things that you have there, or if there's anything that you would have left out from what you would have understood or learned about the quadrilaterals. So Shamar, let's read the first part.
From
Quadrilaterals.
Quadrilaterals are four-sided polygons.
Continue.
A square has four equal sides and opposite sides are parallel. All four corners are right angles or measure 90 degrees.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have the square. All sides are equal, all angles are equal, and the the opposite sides are parallel to each other. Do we understand what parallel means?
Yes, miss.
What?
Two equal lines.
Okay, tell me something else.
They're both from the opposite direction from each other.
Okay.
Two lines that never meet.
That never meets. So how they're running, even if they're running in the same direction or opposite direction, they would never meet up. Right? They would never touch each other. They just keep going the same. They're going whichever direction they're going in, with the same distance between the two lines. Right? So, Alia, rectangle.
A rectangle has two pairs of equal and parallel sides. All its four corners are right angles or measures 90 degrees.
Okay, all right, we have a little error there. Yes, but they all are equal. The angles are equal to 90 degrees. All the angles are equal to 90 degrees, despite the two opposite sides are equal, but they all are not equal. So the two opposite vertical sides are equal, but the two horizontal sides are not equal to the vertical sides. Do you understand what I mean? Horizontal, vertical, right? They're not equal in the rectangle. They're equal in the square. Shamar, parallelogram.
A parallelogram has two pairs of equal and parallel sides. Angles at opposite corners have the same measurements.
Okay, so the parallelogram, you would have noticed, what was the difference from the rectangle, from the square, and the parallelogram? Anybody could remember? It's like if you took a square, sorry, I should say the rectangle and a parallelogram. You took the rectangle and you shift it to the side. So it's like if you take a box and you shift it to the side. Yes, Alia?
The top was smaller than the bottom, and the two sides were slant.
Okay, actually that is the other one. So the parallelogram is where the rectangle was shifted.
Yes.
Right?
The lines weren't straight. They were most of them were slanted.
Slanted.
Yeah.
Yes. But they were still parallel to each other because they were slanted in the same angle. So they were still parallel to each other. Right? So, Shamar?
A trapezoid has one pair of parallel sides.
Okay, one pair of parallel sides. And there we come to what you would have been explaining. They had the parallel sides, one shorter than one. Right? And they had the two slanted sides. Right? So it is not a square, it is not a rectangle, it is not a parallelogram. Right? And it's also called a trapezium. Right? So you have that word. Take the word for trapezium. So the trapezoid is also called a trapezium. And then we have the rhombus. A rhombus has 4 equal sides. Its opposite sides are parallel and opposite angles are equal. So, which one of those shapes we can associate the rhombus with? 4 equal sides, its opposite sides are parallel and opposite angles are equal. So which side do you think we can associate, which shape we can associate it with?
A square?
A square. So just as the rectangle is slanted to make a parallelogram, the square is also slanted to make a rhombus. Right? However, the 90-degree angles now will be distorted because we're shifting out of the 90-degree angle. Right? So are we okay there?
Yes.
Sure? Good. So let's continue. Right. So we have one other activity one other piece before we do a little activity. So we would have learned about the types of triangles. We would have also learned about the types of quadrilaterals. So now we're going to look at the regular and irregular polygons. Right? So once again, let's watch, listen, and take note.
Regular and irregular polygons. As we learned before, a polygon is a closed two-dimensional shape made up of line segments only. If we have these two polygons, what can we say about their properties? Let's talk about the first one. The side's length of this square are equal, as well as the size of its 4 angles, because they are all right angles. This kind of polygon is called a regular polygon. So, a regular polygon is a polygon with equal sides and equal angles. Now, let's have a look at the second polygon. It is obvious that the sides of this polygon aren't equal, and neither are the sizes of the angles. For instance, we have an acute angle, but the rest of the angles are obtuse. Therefore, this polygon is not regular. We call such polygons that don't have equal sides or angles irregular polygons. Now, let's do a little exercise. Among these polygons, can you tell which ones are regular and which are not? Let's check together and sort these polygons in the following table. Look at this triangle. it has 3 equal sides and 3 equal angles. So it is a regular polygon. But this second triangle is not regular because neither its sides nor its angles are equal. What about this pentagon? The sides of this pentagon are equal. Notice that the opening between each 2 intersecting line segments within the shape is the same, which means that all those angles are equal. So this pentagon is regular. Similarly, this hexagon and this octagon are both regular polygons. Now, what about this one? As you can see, all its sides are equal. But still, it is not regular because the angles within this polygon are not equal. This rhombus has equal sides, but its angles are not equal. So this shape is also an irregular polygon. This rectangle is irregular. Although the 4 angles are equal, its sides are not.
So, there we go. We have the regular polygons and the irregular polygons. What could you say about the regular polygons?
A regular polygon is a polygon with equal sides and equal angles.
Equal sides and equal angles, and that is important, right? And the irregular polygon, Shamar?
The sides are not equal, so if it don't have equal sides or equal angles.
Okay, so the sides are not equal, so the angles might not be equal. But could you recall we have in one of the irregular polygons, the sides were equal, but the angles were not equal because of the shape of the polygon, right? So if you look at the second irregular polygon, where you have all the sides would have been equal, but because of the shape and the angles formed, the angles were not equal to each other. So that is what made it an irregular polygon. If you also can recall, when we spoke about the rhombus, what shape did we relate the rhombus to? Say what you said. Say what you're whispering. The square. And what we know about the square?
It has all its sides are equal and it has equal angles.
All the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. So we took the square and we shift it. But when we shift it to the side, are all the sides still equal?
Yes.
Yes. Are all the angles equal? No. It would have distorted the angles, that would have said. It would have changed the angles. So because of that, it would have created an irregular polygon, right? So we must be able to differentiate the regular and irregular polygons. Okay, take down the examples of the regular and irregular polygons quickly. So one of the homework that I'm going to give to you guys would be to actually go and research for recall the types of polygons starting from 3 sides to 10 sides. 3 sides to 10 sides. And I'm saying recall because you would have done that in your previous grades. So you're just going to research it to try to remember the names so you know the names of the type of the polygons. All right? Just let me know when you finish, Amar. And you would have a quick activity. Great. So, some point of time, we will go to the board. So we will come off of the screen now. And we will do something on the board.
Regular and
Oh, my chalk. Good. So, if you glance what you're seeing on the screen, and we're going to board, I would like you to look at the shapes and state whether it's a regular or irregular polygon. That's the first thing. And then I'm going to put a few more, and you will state what type of triangle they are and what type of quadrilateral. So let's look at A. And I think we can even identify if it's a triangle or a quadrilateral. Let's look at A. What could you say about A? First of all, what's the name of the shape?
A square.
A square. Is it a triangle or a rectangle? All right. That is why we have to go and do that homework. A square, is it a triangle or a rectangle? Or a quadrilateral? Is it a triangle or a quadrilateral? My bad. What we know about triangles?
They have 3 equal.
3 equal sides. What shape are we looking at for A?
Square.
It's square.
Does it have 3 equal sides? So is it a triangle? No. And only 2 options I gave you. So if you know it's not the first option, well, it should be the second option, right? So it is an equilateral because it has 4 sides. Good. So is it a regular or irregular shape? Why would you say regular?
Because the sides are equal.
Sides are equal and?
We have 4 equal angles.
And the angles are equal. Great. So the first one, A, is a regular polygon. So let's look at B. Is it a triangle or a quadrilateral?
Quadrilateral.
Quadrilateral. Okay. Is it regular or irregular polygon?
Irregular.
Why?
It does not have 4 equal angles.
Good, great. Doesn't have 4 equal angles, but it probably might have 4 equal sides, right? Great. So let's look at the other shape. Could you identify with a name there? Because you say if it's a triangle or a square or a rectangle, could you? For C? For C.
A triangle.
You would say that's a triangle? What we know about a triangle?
It has 3 equal.
3 equal sides. Do we have just 3 sides there? No, so it's not a triangle. Is it a quadrilateral?
Quadrilateral.
Yes. What we know about a quadrilateral?
It has 4 sides.
4 sides, but it does not mean that the 4 sides are equal, right? It just has 4 sides. Good, so we can identify with C as a quadrilateral, but it's not a normal one that we know about, a regular one that we would see. However, so is it a regular or an irregular polygon?
Irregular.
Why?
Because no 4 sides are
No sides are equal,
and no
no angles are equal. Great, so let's look at D. Triangle or quadrilateral?
quadrilateral.
Quadrilateral. Regular or irregular?
Irregular.
Irregular?
Irregular.
Sure?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it doesn't have 4 equal angles.
Okay, great. There's not 4 equal angles. All right. What is the name of that shape?
A rectangle.
A rectangle. E.
Quadrilateral.
Quadrilateral. Irregular or irregular or irregular?
Regular.
Regular, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Why regular?
All 4 sides are equal and all 4 angles are equal.
Sure.
If you compare it to B, you can see the difference.
If we compare to B,
Yes.
okay.
it looks
What
like-
about if we took A and twist it on the side? Would it look the same way as E?
Yeah.
Actually, yes. All right. And most of them are not drawn to scale also. So, yeah. So, what shape is that?
Diamond.
It's a diamond. Okay. Or
A rhombus.
a rhombus.
Oh.
Right? And in that style, it's a rhombus. But if you put it flat, if you take it off with a peak and you put it flat, you will get a
Square.
square, actually. Yes. So let's look at F. What would be the name of that shape? Pardon? Two sides parallel, but one side slant, or we could have 2 sides slanted. A trapezium or a trapezoid. Good. What about irregular or regular?
Irregular.
Irregular. Sure. Why?
Because it don't have equal sides.
No equal sides and no equal angle. You probably would have some equal angle, but not all, right? And also, is it a quadrilateral or a triangle?
Quadrilateral.
Why?
It has 4 sides.
It has 4 sides. All right, quickly, let's look at this. Very good. By the way, for those, let's look here. Let's say this angle is 120. This here is 42. And this one here is 22. Let's see. 18. And this part is 18. What type of triangle would you call this?
Scalene triangle.
Why?
Because all the sides are different
All the sides are different, so they're not equal.
and they're more than 9.
And we have one
Yes, that's one.
greater than 90. Right? And we have the other 2 sides. All right, so let's look at this one here. What does the 2 lines mean?
They're parallel.
They're parallel? No.
They both
If you notice, you said all three sides are not equal.
They're both equal.
They're equal. So the two sides are equal, therefore, what about these two? If the two sides are equal, what about the angles?
The angles are equal.
They would be equal. Good? So that will make it what type of triangle?
The isosceles.
Isosceles triangle. Agree? So if we have the third angle, that is 60. What happens to this triangle? What would happen to this side? Would this side be equal to the other two sides? If all three the angles are equal? Yes, it must be. Because all three angles are equal, so all three the sides will be equal. And this will become what type of triangle?
Alright
A right angle?
then.
What type of triangle that would be? All three sides are equal. All three angles are equal. And I'm saying the word all the time.
A triangle.
Pardon?
A triangle.
A triangle. Just a triangle. A equilateral triangle. All sides are equal. Alright? Let's look at this last one. No. Not that one. Let's take these off. Good. Type of triangle? A right triangle, because we're seeing a right angle, right? And from the looks of this, we might not have any side equal. Good? But it is still identified as a right triangle. Or sometimes we say a right angle triangle, right? Identifying the right angle, and it's a triangle, right? So today we had the types of triangle. What are the types of triangle according to sides?
According to size.
Yes, the name of the triangle according to sides.
Was isosceles.
Isosceles,
Right angle.
right angle.
Scalene.
Right angle is not one, but scalene. Isosceles, scalene.
Equal.
Right.
Equilateral triangle. Give me the angle. Give me the triangles according to angle.
Isosceles.
Not that again.
Oh yeah.
Right triangle.
Right triangle.
Acute triangle.
Acute triangle. Remember when we did the angles and obtuse triangle, right? So we have those three there. Then we have the quadrilateral. Give me some names of the quadrilateral.
Square.
Square.
Rectangle.
Rectangle. Rhombus.
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. Parallelogram.
Yes.
Right? And we had regular and irregular polygon. Regular polygon, what we know about them?
4 equal sides.
They have equal sides
And equal angles.
and equal angles. It could be more than 4 sides,
Yeah.
right? But they must have equal sides and equal angle. And the irregular obviously would be the opposite. No equal sides or no equal angle, or even if a few are equal, the fact is that all are not equal, they are not regular, right? So we have learned 3 different things in the sessions for today and the words to go with it. So your homework would be you find the names of the shapes that has 3 or more sides, between 3 sides to 10 sides, right? And when we return on the other session, we will recap on that and we will continue. So Good afternoon. Do have a blessed afternoon. Thank you for your time and your patience. Thank you for the viewing audience. And we will see you come next week for critical mathematics and critical English. Do enjoy and have a blessed afternoon.